Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome to the Thinking Crypto YouTube channel. My name is Tony, and I hope you're holding strong in this new asset class that is cryptocurrencies. Not too many news items to discuss, but the market is pumping right now. So I wanted to talk a bit about that because we are seeing Bitcoin back over 5,200, which is a great sign. If you recall the little bull run up we had earlier this week where the prices went over, I should say around 5,200, then it corrected and went down to 4,900. Then Bitcoin slowly crept over back 5,000, and now we're over 5,200, near 5,300. So a great sign. Everything is up across the board. Ethereum is actually up significant. It is at near 183, is up 10.53% from a 24-hour perspective. XRP up just over 36 cents. So it looks like the Asian markets are pushing this because right now the time, for example, in Japan, it's already Monday, so it's 10:57 a.m. So if they continue that momentum, then when the U.S. markets and European markets open tomorrow morning, let's hope they continue as well, and we can see maybe Bitcoin go up to over 5,300, maybe to 5,400. Obviously we wanted to hit those specific goals or important price numbers such as 6,000 and 7,000 and so forth. But great sign. It's great to see green. Now, as always, I'm cautiously optimistic because for example, a whale, the same whale that pumped it up could also dump on us, right? So let's hope that person who did this does not dump. And let's hope the momentum continues. And this is certainly, an actual rally, and it's going to transition us out of the bear market into the bull market. And I think many folks are saying that we've bottomed out and we're, the bullish sentiment is stirring. However, there are still folks who are skeptical, saying that we could correct heavily and go back down below 3,000. Guys like Tone Vase and so forth. Now, is that possible? Sure. Anything is possible in this young market that has a lot of manipulation going on in it. But we're the lucky ones. We're here early, ahead of the curve. We're getting in at the low prices, and we just have to be patient. And speaking of being patient, there was an article here on CCN which did a comparison of the Nasdaq Dotcom bubble, where the price moved up and then corrected heavily, and then over time it increased in value, and it mirrors some of the movements of Bitcoin. Now, we could also do this for Amazon because we saw the winners that came out of the dot-com bubble, or the dot-com boom, I should say, like Google, Amazon, Nasdaq, eBay, many others. They did well, especially Amazon, right? And you think about Amazon was up significantly, then it crashed very hard when that bubble popped. But over time, those who had patience, they did very well. If they held on to their Amazon stock and their investments, as well as Google, they did very well. And there was many other companies that came along, like your Facebooks and your Netflix and so forth. Now, I'm not going to go through everything, but the chart just shows that markets move in cycles. As I always say to you guys, it's a matter of patience, and many times the average Joe does not have the patience. They're looking to make money right away, while the smart money, usually the big money, they have the patience to outlast the average Joe, if so to speak. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of patience that's needed here because there's a lot of building happening in the crypto market. You see the likes of Fidelity and ICE with Bakkt and TD Ameritrade and many others are getting involved. They're getting set up. We're still waiting on some regulatory clarity. Even Bakkt is waiting for the CFTC's approval. But there's tons of hedge funds and investment firms. They are building so many financial instruments and on-ramps for this market, for this new asset class. We see pension funds and so forth are getting involved. So the future is very bright, and we just have to be patient. And we know the Bitcoin halving is coming up next year. So there's a deflationary aspect there, which is going to help drive demand because less Bitcoin will be put out into the world, so to speak, right? Because of it'll be cut in half from like 1,800 to like 900 per day. So that is upcoming, and there's going to be a scarcity, right? And we know this is the new emerging technology that's disruptive and it's global. That's the amazing thing here. It's not just limited to a few countries. This thing is global. And the fact is almost anyone not just accredited investors can get involved. Your average Joe can get involved. So very big things are ahead. And speaking of global, I actually missed this here. Bitcoin was number one. It was trending as number one in China's biggest search engine during the last week when it went up. Now, we talked about the U.S., right, where we saw Google Trends showed a spike in Bitcoin interest. People were searching about Bitcoin, right? What's the price, how to buy it, and so forth. But it's surprising that this was happening in China. So Baidu is the largest search engine in China, and this was reported here by CN Ledger, showing the screenshot that Bitcoin had the highest search volume, which is very interesting. And this is a sign that Bitcoin and crypto interest is now getting into the mainstream again, where it's becoming part of the conversations. People are saying, oh, I better buy Bitcoin. It looks like the price is going up. But that's where you don't want to be moving like that, right? Smart investors buy low, sell high, and they don't move with the hype. So, as I said, count yourself lucky that you came through this bear market and you're here and you bought at a low, and we know higher prices are coming, so we just have to be patient. But don't move by emotions, right? Where if you see the price coming and everyone's searching, how can I buy? No, you want to be ahead of that. And also, even if you maybe for whatever reason you just discovered Bitcoin, don't just go buy right away. Understand where the market is from a cycle standpoint. And just because you see it continually going up, like, oh my gosh, it's going to 5,200, it might go to 5,300, wait for the minor corrections to buy. So these are some principles to think about and to that you need to be aware of, so you don't get burned and you buy at the low as possible, based on when your entry point is. So definitely keep that in mind. Now, as we've talked about, guys, crypto is here to stay. It can no longer be ignored. The governments of the world are having dialogue. They have to issue their regulations. And we see associations and these groups and so forth, like the G20. You guys know about the G20 summit. Many different countries come together. It's kind of an economic summit. Well, it says there's an article here, G20 to establish crypto AML, anti-money laundering, and counter-terrorism financing regulations in June. So it shows how big crypto is becoming. We see certain countries are more friendly than others, but we are headed in the direction of crypto is here to stay. It's going to be part of the framework of the financial systems and economic systems. Which ones in particular will survive, that's a different story, but crypto is here to stay. So G20 member countries will meet to discuss international cryptocurrency anti-money laundering AML regulation on June 8th and 9th in Fukuoka, Japan. Per the report, in accordance with official plans, G20 central bank governors and finance ministers will take part in the meeting. The event will be focused on establishing a framework to combat crypto-enabled money laundering and terrorism financing. So obviously these things are important to put into place because crypto, just like fiat or so forth, can be used for bad things, right? But not only, they're not stifling it, they're not banning it. They're just putting regulations in place to safeguard it, to make sure it's not being used for the wrong things. Also, there are many of these different countries, as we've been discussing, India, even the United States, and many other countries are looking to either revamp regulations or issue regulations. So, for example, South Korea just recently, they talked about revamping their regulations, while India is still waiting to, put out their regulations. Same thing with the United States, the Token Taxonomy Act, right? Now, the SEC has put out some small frameworks, but it's not very clear. There still need to be more detail. They need to be more, I guess the word detail. They need to come out and be specific. They're kind of using some high level terminology where it's kind of still open ended, not clear, as far as where things fall for certain cryptos. But we're still headed in the right direction, and I hope you're ready to be patient and let the infrastructure be built out, let the regulations be set up, and I think we will all see a nice return on our investment if we are patient enough. But the market looks really good here, guys, and let's hope. Remember, there's a scenario, there's a possibility out there. It could go lower, but from my perspective, in my opinion, I think we've personally hit the bottom. I could be wrong, but I personally think we have hit the bottom. We saw the shorts and so forth that got ended, and a lot of, for example, the CBOE pausing their Bitcoin futures contracts, and we saw a lot of longs open up, long contracts open up as far as people's outlook for the pricing, that the price is going to go up for Bitcoin and different other cryptos. So great sign. What do you guys think? Do you think that we could potentially go back down? Do you think it's going to continue to rise? It's looking good, but cautiously optimistic, right? Because there is manipulation. Like I said, the same whale or whales that pumped it up, right, from 4,100 or whatever to near 5,000 could dump on us. That is a real scenario. I'm being transparent, letting you guys know that that's out there. It's not to worry you, because we know we are going to grow. This asset class is going to grow regardless of what whales manipulate or do in the short term. In the long term, we're going to see some really, really high prices where many of these coins are undervalued and they're going to go up. So what do you guys think? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave them below. Thumbs up if you like this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Links in the description. If you'd like to support the channel, check out my donation links, my Patreon group. Thank you for your support, and I'll talk to you all later.